Hi, everyone. It's been a month since we were last here. Instagram, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be like weirdly crooked right now because I cannot for the life of me find my tripod anywhere, which has been kind of annoying, but that's okay. It happens. I'm gonna turn the brightness up on here and just make sure that, okay, there we go. Now I can read your questions and we're all good. Ooh, okay, so I just want to start out by acknowledging that the energy these last couple days for most of you has been incredibly intensive. I know a lot of you are dealing with all sorts of things. I've heard of lots of interpersonal stuff going on, lots of intrapersonal stuff going on, several people dealing with deaths and suicides. And for that, I'm really, really sending my love to you, sending universal love to you to get through this tough time. So I know it's been really tough for a lot of people in that way, in that sense. But a lot of you have been dealing with stuff about, where are you meant to be where you're meant to be, and are you doing what you're supposed to do, and who are you as a human being, and are you are you a fraud? Are you living up to what you're supposed to? Things like that. So there's been a lot of self-doubt lately, a lot of questioning as to where we are. This all makes a lot of sense given what's been going on astrologically with the moon. For me personally, all of this stuff actually hit me 2 weeks ago. So I experienced all of those emotions around the new moon, which really prepared me to be like, okay, I know what to expect for this full moon now, and being able to, just kind of like keep ramping up the work around that has been truly amazing. And I actually really, really have been enjoying this full moon energy. I feel like it's been really pushing me into exactly what I've been wanting to be pushed into. So that's really cool. So as people are hopping on, I just kind of wanted to touch on that for a minute because I know it's been really sensitive for a lot of you. Hi, welcome. For those of you who have not done the live Q&A event before, how it works is that you can type questions into the comment boxes, whether you are on the Facebook live or if you're on Instagram live. Either way, you're going to see a little tiny thing on your phone or on your computer or tablet that says either comment ... or write a comment. And you can just pop your question right in there anytime, even if I'm in the middle of answering another question. And then as soon as that happens, I'll get to your question as soon as I'm done answering the question that I'm answering, and also obviously first come, first serve as well. So I'm going to start off, you can also ask questions anonymously. You can't now at this point, but I do these lives every month. And so if you have a question that you would like to ask anonymously, you may be embarrassed by the topic, or maybe there are friends and family on Facebook that you don't necessarily want them to know that you're engaging with this. I do give the option to do things anonymously. So you can always email me at doorwaytoself@gmail.com with whatever questions that are burning in your hearts, and I will answer them in the next live. You can also DM me on Instagram or private message me on Facebook. Those are options as well, but I will answer them in the live next month, which you all should know is on August 28th. It's a Wednesday, I believe, August 28th at 8 p.m. The event is already up on Facebook, so if you want to learn more about it, or you want to be like, oh, this is exciting, I want to share this with friends and fam, you can definitely check that out, share it. Yeah, I know I've been not necessarily getting that information out to you guys. It's kind of been like the day before, 2 days before, unless you're on my email list. So for those of you who are following me on greater social media, Facebook, Instagram, or both, I do apologize for that. Things have been a little bit hectic trying to organize all of the things. So if you want information and you want to be sure that you're getting the information, whether it's about upcoming lives or workshops or events or sessions or things like that, please go and sign up for my email list. Just head on over to doorwaytoself.com, and a little box will pop up that says sign up for email. Hey, Teo, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by answering some of the anonymous questions that have been sent my way. And then again, as you have questions, you're welcome to pop them in the comment box. I will get to them as I finish answering the current question that I'm on. And then of course, all replays are always posted automatically for 24 hours on Instagram, on the Instagram story, and then on Facebook forever, and on YouTube. I'll post them a couple days later with timestamps as well, so that you can have easy access to whatever questions you're wanting to refer back to. So the first question that I have, thanks for coming on. The first question that I have anonymously is, I have been having disturbing dreams and I don't know why. My life is going well. Do your psychic abilities decrease or amplify during sleep? Anonymous, please. So the answer to that is absolutely yes. So what happens is that when we are in our waking life, we are conscious, right? So we have all of our thoughts meddling, we have our shields up, we have and when I say shields, I don't just mean energetically, I mean societal shields, right? Like the things that society is like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to believe in this, or that's too out there, or you're woo-woo, or whatever it is. You know, we automatically like kind of calibrate ourselves to society's standards subconsciously, and it affects our conscious waking state and what energy and psychic information is going to come in at that point in time. When we are sleeping, those barriers are gone. And part of that is because we can then justify it as, oh, that was a dream, right? Like, oh, okay, that was just dream world. That was, so it's, our conscious mind makes it easy to, hey, thanks for coming on. Our conscious mind makes it easy to be able to interpret those things as kind of fictional. So yes, when you're sleeping, it absolutely is, you actually absolutely are more connected to the psychic realms, to psychic energy. More things can come in. Now, that's not to say that every single one of your dreams is real. A lot of our dreams are us working through subconscious things, trying to work things out, understand things, integrate things, especially energetically integrate things that have been coming into our lives. So that's, you know, I like to say that that's actually more usual for that to be happening than for us to consistently be playing in psychic realms and having crazy psychic experiences in our sleep. But that does happen. And there are some people who experience that way more often than others. So there are clients I've worked with who have had that, you know, on a nightly basis or multiple times a night. There are certain times in my life where I've definitely had that happen, and it can wax and wane as well. Which brings me also to the moon and how the moon affects that, because the moon, it just greatly affects psychic energy. And especially when there are eclipses going on, we're more susceptible to seeing the darker side of things. We're more susceptible to being introduced to information we might not otherwise have wanted to be introduced to see sides of things that we weren't prepared for. And also it's a portal, right? The eclipses in and of themselves are portals. And this last full moon 2 days ago was an eclipse as well. It was a partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn. So eclipses in and of themselves are kind of windows, gateways into the psychic world as well. They're a shift in energy. Any shift in energy is going to be a gateway to the psychic realm, right? It's kind of like, when you when you open your mouth to eat, it's a gateway to food. You're shifting your body to make that happen, right? You are literally shifting your body in a way where it's able to open and receive something new. And the same thing is happening in the psychic sphere when there are shifts in energy, which would be anything like a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse or a full moon versus a new moon, or special, numerological times. Like a lot of you message me all the time saying, why am I always seeing 11:11 a.m.? That's been answered on a couple of the past psychic Q&As. So if that's something you're curious about, you can go check that out on YouTube. But my point is that during eclipse season, you are more likely to experience some pretty crazy dreams, and during the full moon in general, or during the new moon, depending on how you're affected by either of those phases and cycles, you might be more affected in your sleep time, in your dream time. It might even affect the difference between your sleep-wake time. I tend to cycle with the full moon where I did not get to bed last night until 4 o'clock in the morning, because it's just impossible for me at night. It really is. Like, I really have to push myself to go to sleep. Hey, Lisa, thanks for coming on. And I'm more likely to nap in the middle of the day. And during those naps is when I usually have those like huge psychic dreams, psychic downloads through dreaming. So, that's my phase, that's my cycle, as and then during the new moon, I'm always exhausted, going to bed at 10:30 at night or whatever. Or for me, it's really midnight, honestly. I'm a late person. There's no shame in that. But sometimes it is 10:30. I start getting tired and then I'm like waddling to bed slowly. But anyways, so yes, I hope that answers that person's question, and hopefully it helped some of you out as well. So for those of you who are just coming on right now, a reminder that you are welcome to to ask questions at any point in time. Just pop them in the comment box and I will get to them as soon as I am done answering the question prior. I'm currently answering questions that have been sent to me anonymously before this event started. So let's see what the next one is. Okay. What are some of your favorite things to do for self-care? I love this question. I'm actually very surprised I've never gotten this before. Here's what I'm going to say about this, is that just like I was talking about our sleep cycles waxing and waning, our dream cycles waxing and waning with the phases of the moon, I think our self-care routines wax and wane with the course of our life as well. Where you're at, there might be certain self-care methods that are more conducive to the point of life that you're in right now than maybe it was before. Maybe there's something that works for you brilliantly now that never worked for you before and will never work again, or something that worked for you before that doesn't work. You get what I'm saying. So what I'm going to tell you right now is that I'm actually in a transition currently. So I have been trying to find my footing. I'm being super honest with you right now. I've been trying to find my footing around new self-care methods that have been working for me as best practice at this point in my life. I've been in a pretty big transition this last year. So if you would have asked me a year ago, what are your favorite self-care methods? The first thing I would have said would have been TV, which I still advocate for. I still think that it's a really great self-care method, and that's not something you're going to hear most practitioners say. I've talked about this before, that when we watch TV, this has been scientifically studied and proven that we actually go into meditative state when we're watching TV. So watching TV actually forces you to get into a meditative state, which is pretty cool. It also is an emotion cord strengthener. So when we watch dramas or when we watch, comedies where you really connect with the characters, you are reinforcing your emotional connection, your ability to connect emotionally with people. So there's that. Hey Lisa, I'm seeing your request to join in on the video. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, honestly, because it's hard for me to remember on Instagram with people's handles and such exactly who they are in person. So I apologize for that, but maybe if you send me a request some other time and we kind of chat about it privately about like what we might be talking about together, then I would be really glad to do that. What do you mean you can't see me? I'm confused. Okay. Oh, is it because probably the comments are hitting my head? I'm so sorry about this whole situation in terms of it's really not ideal to not have my tripod with me. So bear with me for a moment here. Is that better? Huh. Oh my gosh, everything is freaking out right now. Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you about the request box. I'm not usually a techie, so I'm sorry. I hope you can figure that out. Okay, what was I saying? Yes, so TV. What I am going to caution you against is watching TV that's violent, which is really, really hard to find nowadays. TV that is not violent, that is not dark or grim. And oh my gosh, the storylines in some of those are amazing. I used to be a huge Dexter fan. I used to be a huge How to Get Away with Murder fan. Oh my gosh, how great is Handmaid's Tale, right? But because you're in a meditative state to receive that information, it then gets embedded in your subconscious. So if, maybe to go back to that first question too about having lots of dreams right now, if you're somebody who watches a lot of violent TV, that might be showing up in your dreams because your subconscious is needing to process that stuff. So, yes, so that would be my number one thing for self-care in the past. It's still pretty huge for me. I've been tending to turn away from it a little bit more, but it is still something that's very grounding for me. Helps me to get back in my body, helps me to decipher what's my energy, what's not. But there are certain moments where it's not serving me as much anymore. So I'm transitioning out of that. Another thing for self-care, and this is a new one, so I gave you an old one, this is a new one, would be actually every morning I have added something to my clearing practice. So every morning you should always have a grounding and clearing practice. This is because you are in dreamland, right, or sleepland. And thanks for all the love on that one. And then you have to come back to your body. So this is something that to your physical body. So this is something I've been implementing for about 7 years now or so. It's been life-changing. It's been extremely helpful. All I've been doing every morning for the last 7 years is simply just breathing. So I wake up before I open my eyes even. So my eyes are closed and I make sure to really feel into my body, start wiggling my toes. Like, maybe if you've gone to a yoga class or meditation or something like that, they'll say, come back to your body or come back to the room, and they'll say, start wiggling toes and fingers, whatever it is, after Shavasana or whatever. I'm not really a yoga person, but that's just a good example. So So yeah, it's kind of that same idea of you're coming back to your body. So when I first started this practice, and I'm starting to reincorporate this again because it worked really well for me, and I don't know why I dropped it out. I think, I just got probably cocky or lazy, or, oh, this is just fine the way it is type thing. But you actually touch your entire body very, very intentionally, sending it love, sending it gratitude. And so many of us are hating towards our bodies, right? My arms are too flabby. My belly has cellulite. My hips are too big. I don't have thigh gap. Whatever it is that the media tells us how we have to look, and then we shame ourselves for it. And so this can be a really, really helpful practice in being able to not only integrate back into your body physically after sleeping, but also to be able to remind your cells that you love them, remind your body that you're thankful for everything it does for you, whether you have a physical disability or not. I think that people get hung up on that too, right? Like, oh, I'm in a wheelchair, like I don't, this isn't going to work for me. But like, you can still be thankful for your arms. You can be thankful to pick things up with your hands. You can be thankful for your sight. And that's just an example, right? Like if you have a vision impairment, or you're blind, or you're deaf, or whatever it is, and I don't like to say that stuff because it kind of defines the person. Like, you experience deafness would be more. But anyways, now I'm getting nitpicky. The point is that no matter who you are, if you're in a human body and you're conscious, then you have the ability, maybe not with your hands, but you have the ability with your mind and with your energy to thank every single part of your body in the morning, and maybe even at night before you go to bed, so that you can get up and go throughout the day in this solid thing that's holding you here. And it's amazing, even for myself, I was experiencing some horrible intestinal pain 5 years ago, and after a year of doing this practice, the pain started to decrease and go away. And I've watched other people, who have back problems, or who have breast cancer, or things like that, where they are, oh goodness, sorry, text message comes in. They're actually able to either diminish their disease or their ailment or their pain, or they're able to completely get rid of it. It is amazing how when we take our body for granted, it doesn't work for us. It's crazy. So that would be part of my grounding practice, is waking up in the morning and doing all of this, usually doing the same thing at night before bed as well. The other thing I do is I stretch. So I usually stretch specifically my legs, get them moving, get the blood flowing. And I, through that stretching, connect with the sky, connect with the universe, connect with like everything that's up here, and then connect with my body as a vessel for all of that stuff. And not like being very specific about boundaries and stuff and whatever, but mainly connecting to like my higher self type thing, and universal source energy. Then connecting with my body, reminding my body that it is a vessel, that it is connecting to those energies, and then connecting to the earth and grounding all of that out and making it really physical and stable, and then bringing the earth up into my body. And reminding myself that I am of the earth. I'm here on this earth, and the earth is here holding me. We have so much to be grateful for just in the morning. It's insane. Like even before our day has even started. So that's my favorite grounding and clearing practice. What I have, and my favorite thing to do for self-care in general, period, end of story. What I have added recently, which is how I got on this whole tangent, is I've actually started to burn herbs in the morning, and cleanse myself with those. So I've been using sage or cedar or palo santo or lavender sometimes. Whatever I have a relationship with that I know is going to be able to help cleanse me, and that I can work with the essence of the spirit of, to be able to move forward through the day with cleansing. Hey Cheyenne, thanks for coming on. So good to see you. So those are a few of my favorite self-care tips. One old but still consistent, and one new. So I hope that that's helpful to you guys. Again, for those of you who are new on here, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the comment box, and I will get to them as soon as I am done answering the question prior. I am currently answering questions that were sent to me anonymously beforehand, but you are welcome to put your questions in at whatever time, and they will be answered first come, first serve. Hey Ashley, thanks for coming on, love. Okie dokie. Let's see. The next question is, so I get this whole psychic and sick thing, but how does that show up in narcissists? I love this question. Okay, this is actually one of my favorite things to talk about. I have a lot of favorite things to talk about, but this is one of them. So good. And this is actually something that's been coming up for the last couple months now. People have been asking me this question. So this is actually kind of like a general question that I've taken from several people. People have been asking me this question for months now. I've been working specifically with clients who have dealt with people who have either narcissistic personality disorder diagnosed, or they're considered narcissists, or whatever it is. Hey Jenny, thanks for coming on. Oh goodness, I'm really excited. I have a session with Jenny tomorrow, and she does like movement work and stuff, and I'm just, yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, anyways, tangent. If any of you are not following her currently, remember to practice. She just popped up on Instagram. This is why I'm saying this, Facebook people who are clueless. But you should definitely give her a follow and check out her newsletter too, because she does these really cool like field notes that she sends in emails every week. That's great. So, hey, thanks for coming on. Okay, so anywho, narcissists and energy. How does this work? Okay, so we've talked a lot in these episodes, and I've written articles about it and all sorts of stuff about the idea of clairempathy, or being an empath, right? And being an empath means that you have the ability to take on other people's energy as your own, whether you know it or not, whether you're conscious of that or not. So we have 3 different kinds of empaths, in my opinion. Actually, we'll make that 4. We have 4 different kinds of empaths. The first kind of empath is the empath that most of us know about, okay? It's the really whiny empath who is in tons of pain. They're whiny for a reason, okay? They're in tons of pain. They don't know what's going on in their lives. They're super confused. And then they find out they're an empath and they're like, oh my gosh, the world is out to get me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's the first type of empath. Then you have the second type of empath who has done the work, and they understand that they're an empath, and they're learning how to clear other people's energies from their bodies. They are really, working hard to understand how this being an empath thing is working, and why it's happening, and what's going on. And so they are, they're more evolved empath is what I like to say. The third type is going to actually probably surprise you when I say this, but the third type is what I call, and what people in the world of metaphysics call, energy vampires. So you're probably sitting at home right now going, what? How is an energy vampire an empath? Well, they're taking your energy, right? So if they have the ability to take your energy on as their own, then they are empaths. It's just that they have, look, Peter Parker says it perfectly. With great power comes great responsibility. Thank you, Spider-Man. Love ya, right? With great power comes great responsibility. Being an empath, being clairempathic is great power, and it therefore comes with great responsibility. You have the ability to use that power to instill fear in yourself. So that would be the first type of, whiny, constantly fearful empath who's always, because they're fearful, they're taking on even more energy, right? Because they're making themselves small and shrinking down, and like all of this stuff is flying at them. Plus it's attracting it, right? Because if you're afraid of it, it's going to attract it. The second type would be using knowledge, using the lights, using light source energy to learn how to harness your energy, how to harness what's happening around you, etc. And the third type, this energy vampire stuff, would be working with the dark. It would be using that power. And I'm saying this from experience because I used to be that energy vampire empath. That was me. And it's extremely intentional most of the time for people who know about what they're doing, right? Other people don't necessarily know what they're doing, and so it's very subconscious. You have the energy vampires who are people who will maybe like knock you down, or insult you, or maybe like subtly lay a hand on your shoulder, and they're taking your energy, and it's totally subconscious. They don't even know what's happening. You might not even know what's happening, but they're there and they're doing it. But then you also have the intentional energy vampires as well, who are just like legitimately out to steal your energy, use it as their own, use it to gain more power, etc. Now, a narcissist is an energy vampire gone even more wrong. Okay? So what I am telling you right now is that a narcissist, a person with NPD, or a person you would think is a narcissist or call a narcissist or whatever, is an empath. They are a type of empath. They are the fourth type of empath. Okay? Okay, so now you're like, wait, how does this work? Like, an empath is such a kind person, and they're so compassionate, and they take on all of these people's pain and all of this stuff. Look, when you're an empath, you don't only have the ability to take on pain, you have the ability to take on anything. Okay? You can transmute and transform energy. That's why energy vampires work, because they're able to take your pain and take your sadness and transform that into like strong, powerful, darkly powerful, but powerful energy that they can then utilize to gain whatever it is that they're wanting. Control, money, a title, whatever it is. So what happens with narcissists is that usually these are people who were knocked down at a young age. Okay, so they were told they were not worthy, they were not good enough, they were too much, no one could handle them, they were too dramatic, etc., etc. Okay, so similar to what your number one empath might do, the whiny empath, this might be similar to their story as well. What happens is there's a change in trajectory. Okay, so the whiny empath learns, well, actually both of them, both the whiny empath and the narcissist learn to push their own energy down. It's wrong. Okay, their energy is considered wrong. It doesn't fit in. Hey, thanks for coming on. And so they push their energy completely down and make it really, really small. And then they start trying to fit in. And when they start trying to fit in, it means they're grabbing energies from other people, from other places, and they're trying to take them on as their own. They're trying to emulate them, whatever. So this is where the trajectory changes. With the whiny empath, they are going to continue taking on and taking on and taking on and taking on, and like breaking down every time they're taking on. the narcissist is going to continue taking on, and feeling completely empty. Okay? So there's not even this feeling of pain or sadness or anything. It's this numbness and it's this emptiness. And it's this emptiness that needs to be filled. And not only that, but they require to be seen. And they require to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Validated. They require validation. They require people's attention. They require to be the center of attention, or the center of the earth, or, you know, whatever it is. They require this. And the reason they require this is because deep down inside of them, this little tiny piece of them is still living, and it's like screaming to come out and be seen. But they're afraid to be seen in that. And so instead, they become seen in other people's energies and demand attention for it. That, my friends, is a narcissist. That's how we get narcissists. So if we can start raising our children, right, or talking to other people's kids or whatever, if you don't have your own kids, I don't have my own kids, I don't plan to, okay? When you are interacting with children, whether they're your own or others, acknowledge them. And don't, like, and I'm not talking, you know, mid-90s, everyone gets a trophy acknowledgement. I'm talking, hi, I see that you're crying. Tell me about it. Right? So many parents will just say, stop, cut it out. You're whining, you're, you know, whatever it is. Or, hi, I see that you are wearing a pink dress today, and that pink dress really looks like you. And the kid will probably be like, yeah, you know, this look, you know, whatever it is. But the point is that in very subtle ways, we need to watch our language with children, and we need to treat them in a way where they're not being acknowledged just because, and they're not being put down because it's what's easiest for us as adults, because we don't want to deal with them, because we want adult time. And by the way, if that's you, you should not have kids. Just saying. But the point is that, you know, when we begin to look at children from this angle, hey Christine, thanks for coming on. When we begin to look at people from this, or children from this angle of, okay, here they are as kids now, and if we knock them down right away, and if we tell them they're too much, too dramatic, not enough, not right, not fitting in, not normal, you know, whatever it is that we might tell these children, they're gonna grow up to either be the sad, whiny empath, or the narcissist, or the energy vampire, right? It's going to be one of the three, unless they get a handle on themselves and they're like, oh, wow, I have to do some self-work now. Let me figure this out. And then they turn into, you know, the empath who's working on themselves and becoming solid. I see a comment from Christine. Oh, she just says, hi there. Hi. Okay, let's see. So I hope that that answers that question and gives some of you insight and maybe sparks some other questions from you guys. We still have about 20 minutes left. So if you want to ask a question, you are more than welcome to pop it into the comment box on Facebook or Instagram at any point in time, and I will get to it whenever I am done answering the current question. For those of you who have just popped on, know that if you missed the first part of this and you're curious about what questions might have been answered before now, you can check them out in a few days. I will upload this video to YouTube with timestamps for where all of the questions were asked, and you can just go straight to the question that piques your interest, use it for reference for later, you know, whatever you need to do. In the meantime, I also do want to announce I'm superbly excited, and some of you may have seen this. Many of you have been requesting for me to do a video or article about psychic and energy ethics. And after 8 months, literally 8 months of working on it and trying to perfect it, and just like, it is my baby, but it is out there now. And you can actually find it, Cassandra, who's one of my dear, dear friends from Goddess Ceremony, she was the one who was like, you need to write this, and I want it on my blog now. So so it is on her blog. You can find it on goddessceremony.com/blog. If you go to my website too, there's a link click through for it also. And if you're on Instagram, there's a link in my bio for it too. So several ways that you can get to that. I'm just really, really so excited to be able to share this with you guys. And I've already gotten a lot of really fabulous feedback from it. I published this morning. So I know there's one person who's actually having an energy healing circle on Monday and asked me if she could print the article out and pass it around to everyone at the circle before they begin, so that they can look at all of the points and like become familiar with it. So I'm just really excited about this because it's something we need. There is no energy ethics book out there at all. And we need to start talking about it because, you know, as Cassandra told me so pointedly the other night, she said, I can't wait to publish this tomorrow, because how many people have we seen walk into an energy session one way and come out worse than they went in? And that's so true. I'm feeling some of you guys get chills and get really upset by that, by me saying that right now. And part of that, I'm feeling some of you being upset that that's actually a thing that happens. And I'm feeling some of you who are upset because you have had that happen to you. And if you have had that happen to you, I feel for you so, so deeply, on the level that I've had that happen to me. And I've also been the person to make that happen when I was in my teens. So, in early 20s. So oh, Christine says that is awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, my phone is so hot right now, you guys. I just had to pick it up to read Christine's comment, and it is like I'm a little concerned about it. I guess we'll find out what happens. This is called Mercury retrograde, just going with the flow. That's what this is called. I'm trying to stand my phone up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, so this is the last anonymous question I received. So if you guys have questions, I'm so serious, please comment, please put them in the comment box, and I will answer them whenever. It's really always really fun when you guys engage as well. So you're welcome to do that at any point in time. Okay, so how do I start meditating? This is a jam-packed question, honestly. It's so simple, but it's really jam-packed. And the reason for that is because my advice to you would be first to do research and not to jump into meditation right away. Reason being that there are probably hundreds of different types of meditation. So there are movement meditations, there are chanting meditations, there are silent meditations, there are mindfulness, there's astral travel, there's astral projection, there's hedge hopping, there's trance work, there's, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And again, with this waxing and waning thing, this is just the theme today. The types of meditation that may have worked for you before, or the types that may work for you now, may not work for you later. So again, using myself as an example, oh, thanks for the love on that, Christine, I appreciate it. So as an example, you know, before, when I was in high school and not worried about paying my own bills and stuff, thankfully, you know, I was super, super big into astral projection, into trance work, into things that just like would take me out of my body and make me leave this world. Like that was it. And now that I have more responsibilities, my life is very hectic. I own my own business. I'm in grad school. I'm taking care of my grandparents part-time. You know, there's all of this stuff going on. And so the thing that has been most helpful to me now is something that I actually used to poo-poo, 10, 15 years ago, which is mindfulness. And I think there's a reason why there's been a huge draw to mindfulness meditation in the last 10 years. And it's because people are so overwhelmed with the busyness of life. And I do believe that life has become busier in the last 10 years for everyone than it ever has been ever in the history of human beings. Because cell phones and internet and apps and social media have our attention constantly, consistently. And so we never get a break. People are expected, where 10 years ago it was a 9-to-5 job and you'd come home and you'd be done and you'd be able to relax and have dinner with your family or whatever it was you were doing. Now it's 9-to-5 and then you go home and you're expected to be on call and answer emails all the time for all of these mundane questions that are probably completely irrelevant to the evolution of anything. So we're constantly on, and mindfulness meditation helps us to ground, to recenter, to be present, to let all of that stuff go away and to get a true break. Whereas trance meditation, astral projection, things like that, that's actually extra work. So if you're somebody who like full time wants to just like get off of social media forever and not have a demanding job and live a really peaceful life and stuff like that, then trance might work really well for you, because you're already going to be very mindful. You're already going to be in the present. You're already going to be, able to take life slower, take life more slowly. And then that mindfulness stuff is not going to be as necessary. Hey, Ruth, thanks for coming on. So yeah, basically my point is, how do I start meditating? You research, you feel into what is best for you in this moment in time. Maybe start looking at the traditions that it comes from. Is this a peaceful meditation? Is this a working meditation? Is this a, like tune in to tune out? What kind of meditation are you looking for? And once you narrow that down, just try. That's all it is. That's all it is. You just try. And you might get so frustrated at first. It might be really, you might get really impatient with it. And especially, honestly, like the mindfulness stuff, I get so impatient with it. I'm like, ugh. And it's easier for me personally to do it in nature. Or with some element around me, right? So like I'll do candle, like flame meditations and stuff like that. Or like sit under a tree, or I meditate personally better lying down, which is something that most people tell you not to do, because you could easily fall asleep. But if you practice and that's all it is. It's practice, which is so frustrating because you're like, ugh, this feels like a waste of time. I could be checking my 79 notifications right now and answering my 15 emails and, whatever it is. And so you feel like you're in a time gap and you feel like you're wasting time. But, really, we all need to slow down so badly right now. It's like I've been feeling that hurt a lot lately. From the world. I've been feeling the hurt of the world. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's like legit. I've really been feeling the pain of the world as it's been not able to slow down and not able to catch a breath. So that's super important. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left. That was the last anonymous question that was asked before this live. If you have questions you'd like to ask anonymously and you want to send them to me, I can answer them on next month's live, which is August 28th at 8 p.m. It's a Wednesday, 8 p.m. EST. Yeah, so you can email them doorwaytoself@gmail.com, or you can private message or direct message them to me on Facebook or Instagram. All of those are options. So if you have any questions at this point in time, though, that you want to ask live, you are more than welcome to put them in the comment box. As I'm waiting for questions to come in, I do want to tell you about some upcoming things that are really, 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 really exciting. One of them being this Saturday, actually. And I'm not going to lie, we do actually have quite a few spaces open still on for the Inner Gold Unveiled collaborative sessions. So this is something that I'm partnering up with Megan Lenman of Megan Lenman Photography. She's amazing, just amazing human being, but also just amazing like at what she does, which is essentially energetic photography. I'm loving all the love on this. Thank you. So she photographs people's energy. And I'm not talking like aura photos where you see the colors and all of that. I honestly think that that's like not real. But I'm talking like legit, she finds a way to photograph your physical self and capture your energy in that. And it is unreal. She has a full collection up right now at the Wellness Collective. So if you're in Grand Rapids, it's up until September. There are like over 20 women who gave her permission. Some of them even selected which photos because they were so excited about them. But she asked all of their permission to put their photos up in the Wellness Collective, and they are absolutely incredible. Some of them are nude, some of them are not, and they all kind of just like made that decision in the moment. She didn't even bring it up. It was just like something they were like, I want to be seen like this, and that's what they did. So I am partnering with her on Saturday. We're doing sessions from 10 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. Although that last session is booked. But we are partnering together in Rockford on Saturday, and we'll be doing our sessions. So the first 30 minutes will be with me, and I'll be doing an energy and sound healing that actually helps to bring your essence out. So the entire point of the method that I use is to like reintegrate your energy into your body more solidly, more fully. See, I'm like already starting with my hands. I'm like, oh. And then I use vocal sound vibration as well to help that to happen. So you'll have 30 minutes with me, and then when you're like at your peak energy, at your peak self, then you're gonna go see Megan and have 30 minutes of photography with her, that photography healing. It's really a healing session, honestly. And then after, within like a couple weeks, you will receive 10 images to keep and to be able to reflect back on, oh my gosh, this is me, this is my power, this is my essence, this is my energy. So if you want more information on that, if that's something that interests you, you can find that info on my website, doorwaytoself.com/services. The other thing that is there that I want to let you guys know about is I've told you all about my my new program coming up in the fall that I'm just melting about. So the Journey program was full, and then last minute, one of the women decided, and I'm so in love with her. She decided that she was moving too quickly in her own work and wanted a chance to slow down. And so she actually dropped out of the program last minute. So there is one spot available. If this is an offering that was really calling to you and you were kind of flirting with it, or maybe it didn't feel right before and now you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that spot is open, I would really highly recommend going to my website, that same page, doorwaytoself.com/services, and you will find a button there where you can read more information about it if you're not familiar with it, or if you are and just want to read it again. And you'll also find a button to be able to submit your application for the Journey program, and to book your complimentary 30-minute consultation over the phone with me. So all really, really exciting things. And again, that program is starting in September, and it's 3 months, 12 weeks, once a week. So just super, super enthused about that. So no one has any questions. Why not? You guys are quiet today. I don't think I've ever had anyone not ask me something live. This is a little bit crazy. Okay. Well, I will wait like 30 seconds. And if I don't see a question on here, then I am actually going to go ahead and end this a couple minutes early. I know I said in the very beginning of this video, of this live, that the energy right now for most of everyone I've been talking to has just been really intense. Really intense. So if you're quiet right now because you're just needing to be here and be present and feel the energy of the community that's here, which is honestly like the biggest part of why I do these lives, is to help reinforce the energy around the fact that there is community here. There are people who are interested in this, who are wanting to learn about themselves in this way, who are non-judgmental about this. And so I really want you to feel free to know that you're safe and you're held no matter what you've been experiencing these last couple weeks. Christine says, because you're being real. Oh. Yeah, always. Like, seriously, I have so much Scorpio in my chart. I can't handle not being real. So there'll be times when I'll try on a face for a split second, and I'll be like, what you doing? Like, take that off. And then I hardcore judge myself for it, and it never comes back again. So yeah. I love that you see that. Thank you so much for that reflection, Christine. Okay. Nothing else? Nothing else? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this then. Again, just to refresh your memory before I go, if you're not already following me on Facebook and Instagram and you loved this and you want more, then you are welcome to follow @doorwaytoself on both places. You can also sign up for my email list by going to doorwaytoself.com. I don't spam you. The only time that I send out emails is when I have a new article out or a new video or some event going on. And then I also do an email in the very beginning of the month, just like with an full energy forecast of what is coming up astrologically, numerologically, energetically in general, things like that. So you're welcome to sign up for that. Just go to doorwaytoself.com, and that's all. And then again, one final space remaining in the Journey program, which you can find also on my website under offerings. And then this Saturday is Inner Gold Unveiled. So super excited about all of those things. You can find all of those links for people who are on Instagram. You can find all of those links in my bio, as well as a link to the new energy ethics article that I wrote and has been published on the Goddess Ceremony website. So and again, if you missed any part of this live and you're interested in learning what was said before you got on, replay will be posted directly after this ends on Instagram. It'll be available for 24 hours, and on Facebook it'll be available forever, and on YouTube I will be posting in a couple days time with all of the timestamps for questions, so you can easily access all of that. I will also on Facebook post in the comments all of the links that I just said as well, so that you have easy access to that. So I'm sending love to you guys, and thank you so much for joining and coming on. tonight. I hope to see you again August 28th at 8 p.m. EST. Much love. Bye. Oh, this is awkward now. I can't. I can't end the video. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.